Hey everybody, how's it going? Hey Robert, how's it going? Thanks everybody for tuning in. Sorry, I was getting a little carried away with the loop, but today I don't have anything special planned or anything. So if you guys have some questions, just let me know. I might treat it kind of like a concert thing. I'll just play random stuff. Sometimes I'll do some jams. Sometimes I'll play some actual songs. If you have any questions, let me know. We've already got a request for Freebird. Things are going really well. Be careful what you wish for. That's all I'm going to say. I can't quite do that. No, but I guess I could do something with the progression. Right. So, yeah, I mean, we can kind of do that, just kind of having a free for all. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. Just kind of a fun day for today. I've got the amp a little bit closer today. You can kind of see it this time. It says TC Electronic on it. The model is, I'm not sure if they still make these. They may not. Looks like there's something that says Tone Print on it. I'm not sure if that has the actual model on it though. BG250. Okay. So if anybody ever wonders about that, that's the amp I'm playing through. I think it's like a 250 watt amp, which is what the 250 in the title is. But yeah. So tonight, just nothing really planned. If you have any like questions about specific songs that I just happen to know, that's one thing we can talk about. I can kind of walk through some things that I've done recently. If you have questions about arrangements, I'm happy to kind of like go through those. But yeah. All right. So Alan's got a question. Here's a question. Can you tap on upright bass? Kind of. It's just hard. It would take a lot of effort. That's a good question, though. It's actually a really good one. Oh, why not? Let's try it out. Okay. The short answer is like yes. You know, if you do that, you can get a sound to come out. If you do it without muting the other side, then you'll get both sides coming out. So you kind of have to mute with the left hand what you don't want to come out on the right. It's really probably going to be hard to stay in tune with two things going on, right? Yeah, but you technically can. Trying to think if there's anything. Yeah, you can, but it would take like a lot of work. So I don't think I've ever really tried tapping on there. Let's see if I can. Right, so you can do that kind of stuff. But yeah, the intonation is kind of tricky because when you're used to playing in positions, on here, so you kind of lose that ability to play positions. So it might be a lot easier down here. Yeah. But the short answer is yes. All right. This is kind of fun. Is the upright bass tuning like a normal bass tuning? Yes. So the upright bass, the U bass, and the electric bass all have the same tuning, the same range, same octave. So I know a lot of people, they get confused by that answer. But yes, if you play an E on the upright bass, as long as it's in tune, that is the same E that you'll get here and the same E you'll get on electric bass. Yeah. All right. Hey, Seth, how's it going? So basically just, it's kind of a free-for-all. Any questions you have, you can do some requests if you want. If I know them, I'll play them. If I don't, I might try to look something up, but I will have had to at least heard the song to be able to kind of do anything on there. But I don't know. Let's see. We've already got a request. So let's see. I'd have to think about it for a second. Look. No, that's not quite right. I'd have to make up a finger picking pattern for it since we don't have the same strings. Let's see what happens. Mistake number one, just go with the flow, see what happens. Okay. Yeah, one of those sound a little weird. Yeah, I'm not sure if I can do it. We'll see what happens. Let's try that. Okay, so that's not really that exciting. So we could just skip over a whole bunch of the rest of the song. In this bird you cannot change. Almost long enough. I didn't do it quite long enough. That didn't work. All right, that's probably enough of that. I think I've dragged that one out a little bit too long. But yeah, so that's kind of the idea there. So let me see what other questions you guys have posted. But that's what you get when you request Freebird. Even when it's a joke, sometimes you still get your requests. So be careful what you request on here, because it might be a half-baked rendition, but you know, it might work. Ever seen one of those upright basses that are small enough, like 34 scale, that you turn on its side and play like a bass guitar? Possibly. I saw something that was really interesting at a music store where it basically had what looked like the polyurethane strings or maybe nylon strings, but it was an upright bass about the size of a cello, but the strings were big enough to where you could tell it wasn't going to have cello pitched tuning. It was going to have more like bass pitch tuning, but it was like half the size of a bass, or like I said, like it was cello sized. So that's like a 1/4 scale. They also make 1/4 scale upright basses. I had a student that had one a long time ago, and it was like the miniature version of my bass. He had the same brand and everything. So good question, Seth. And then let's see. Yeah, but they're still pretty big and could be stood up. Yeah, so there are lots of different smaller basses. Someone just recently got one. If any of you guys are on the U-Bass Freaks Facebook page, they got one custom made that's a little bit bigger than a U-Bass, but a pretty similar scale. And they have a radius on it. It's like a custom job, so they're expensive because each one's unique. But they it had the radius on the bridge, so you could actually bow it. So I'm kind of curious to see how those sound, but they're not like a model that someone put out. It's just a custom job from a luthier. Cool. So let's see. Valeria, hello. Have you thought about a collab with other ukulele channels, like covers of certain songs? Yeah, I have thought about doing that, and I actually do some collaborations with Rock Class 101. So they actually have a ukulele a ukulele site, and I do U-Bass lessons, and sometimes I actually do some ukulele stuff too for them. Should be saying ukulele, but you get the idea. So yes, I am open to that as well. So that's cool. So Mr. Mayonnaise, I think you might be alone on that one. I'm not sure. Interesting question about cake batter. I guess I should say with the U-Bass stuff, it'd be cool if we kind of kept it music-related questions at the very least. But it's very interesting. I don't think I know that Mac Miller song. In fact, I don't know that I know very, very much at all. I may have to get headphones to be able to listen to something to where it won't trigger the copyright thing on YouTube to be able to do that, to be able to do songs that I haven't heard before. And Seth says, I saw someone do something interesting online. He took his ukulele bass and put D'Addario Baby Taylor acoustic bass strings on it. D'Addario. That's weird. I would worry about the tension and just other things creating some issues on there, but that's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah, I don't really know that Mac Miller tune. What I might do, if y'all can hang with me, I might get some headphones so that I'm able to do that, where I can listen to some things and try to play them. So let me come back with some headphones. I think it's allergy season. I've been losing my voice. If you can't tell from everything, so hopefully it'll remain for the duration of the live stream. We'll see what happens. Okay, let's check it out. Sometimes I can pick things out if they're pretty repetitive, but But yeah, it might be kind of fun. Yeah, Seth, I'm not sure if I have one that I want to try putting if I want to try putting strings that aren't intended for one on there. But who knows? Let's see. In the future, who knows what I'll end up doing if I end up getting a really inexpensive bass ukulele just to do kind of things like that too, so that if it breaks, it's not a huge deal. Yeah, the strings being similar scale length is one thing. The metal core, if it has a metal core, might be another issue. So that's the thing. It just may put tension in certain places, like being wrapped around the tuners. It could eventually make an issue with that. It may or may not have issues with the truss rod. And yes, Robert, the trees just decided to bloom like overnight a day or two ago, and yeah, I've been losing my voice ever since then. So it doesn't happen every year, but this year I'm losing my voice. Whatever decided to pollinate first does that to my throat, apparently. Mac Miller. Let's see what we got. Okay, so it has that in there. Let's see what else is going on. Kind of reminds me of a couple other songs. The bass line, almost like Sissy Strut or something. Or wound too far. Almost got it. This is how long it takes me to pick out songs by ear sometimes. Okay. So that's that part. Now I just gotta. My memory has to work to be able to piece them together. So let's see what happens here. Or boom, 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 boom. Then I gotta get that part right there. Just figure out the rhythm. There's two notes in there. I missed them. Dun, dun. Okay, so that's there. So kind of what I kind of do to figure out these songs, just because I think the process might be a little bit more important to you guys rather than just hearing me play it and being able to piece it together, which hopefully I'll be able to do in a timely manner. And if not, I might just move on to something else. It's very cool. It's got a very cool rhythm to it. Sometimes what I'm doing is I'm relating it to things I already know. Like Sissy Strut has a part of the line that goes, and this kind of had that sort of vibe. So it's in a different key, but it kind of had a similar vibe. And so I could tell it was minor pentatonic right away. and then, you know, having that. It reminds me of something else. It's not just the sissy strut thing, but some other things that are minor pentatonic as well. So my hands kind of knew what to go to there. So kind of being able to hear those sounds and just being able to recognize the minor tonality and kind of knowing what the basic chords are. I could tell he was centering a lot of stuff around a C sharp or a D flat, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to call it a D flat for now, and then going to the G flat. So it's a 1 chord in minor going to the 4 chord in minor. So once I've got that, then it's just a matter of figuring out how he's connecting the two, and kind of like what the line is doing. So hopefully that gives you kind of an idea of what I'm doing. There are a lot of in-between steps to like get to the point of being able to do that. If you're not there, first thing I would do is probably learn pentatonic scales, learn major scales and minor scales, and then go through and kind of work on some ear training stuff, which we talked about on a previous live stream. And then the rhythm, da-da, da-da-da. So you got 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and yeah. So it's like playing enough 16th note rhythms to kind of recognize which ones are being played and having that pulse going on in your head the whole time. So you can pick out which ones are being played and which ones aren't. And if you're having trouble remembering the rhythm, which is something that happens to me a lot, you may want to count 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and go through and really figure out where each note lands. Because sometimes it's hard to get familiar with the rhythm like straight away like that. Especially this kind of thing's a little more complicated than some other songs. So hopefully that kind of gives you an idea of what my process is. It's not a perfect process, but that's kind of what I was doing. Oh. That's right. So yeah, so it goes bum. So there's like kind of this little, it's almost like slightly behind the beat kind of thing, where that little hammer on in there at the end of that is kind of interesting. So you know, it's just kind of piecing it together. And then sometimes you can do it just off of hearing it enough times, but other times you kind of have to go in, write it down, because for me at least, my memory doesn't always remember all of these things. And sometimes it's easier to play along when you've got it going along with you. And then in order to play it, if I were to play it separately or try to do a loop pedal version or something, would take more time. And I probably won't do that today. But it gives you an idea of kind of what I'm doing at least. Okay, then he just walks up the minor scale. But he has a lot of ghost notes there. Yeah. So I don't quite have it down, but yeah, that's something you can kind of do. So it helps to know that you're kind of doing a D flat minor pentatonic scale, but being able to go backwards instead of just going forwards. Right. So I think it started with and I simplified the end. The rhythm's a little trickier than that toward the end. So let me hear that one more part. Okay, just a little bit. There's just a little bit of ghost notes and things going on there. I'm probably not gonna nail it. Yeah, I still simplified the ending, and it starts over with da-da, and I kind of missed the intro. But yeah, that's a cool song. I like that bass line. That might be kind of fun to, you know how I did the tried a new thing this week where I did a bass shorts on a short bass kind of thing. You know, the joke being this is the short bass and shorts being YouTube's new feature. So so the idea was kind of I put the tab for like the main groove on the screen or something, and then teach it, or instead of teaching it, just play it and just have the tab on the screen. And that's something, you know, that can be really short, like a less than a minute long thing. So that one might actually be really good for that. So stand by. I might end up doing that with it. So let's see, what else do we have? Pretty Pleased by Dua Lipa. Okay, I'm not familiar with that one either. I need to get current and up to date with songs that have been released in the last, 10 years? But yeah. I need to do it wearing short. Oh, that's right. And wear shorts with fish on them, with bass on them, right? So bass shorts. Or better yet, I could get like a smaller pair of shorts and put them on the base. So bass shorts on a short base. I don't know. We could do all sorts of crazy things with it. There's so many ways that pun can go. Let's see what we got. Today is Stump Steven Day, right? Okay, I'm gonna start over from the beginning so I get the beginning of the pattern. Oh. Boom, boom. Oh, that's that note. Okay. Interesting. So there's that kind of, and I might be hitting some extra notes. Something like that though. So that one's F sharp, really major, I think. So you're hitting the F sharp. You're doing like a rhythm on it. Boom, 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 and then you're hitting the third of that scale, going into the sixth, and then you hit that a few times. 6, 5, 8, which is the octave from the F sharp. Then you're walking down the scale, the 7th degree of the scale. So those numbers I'm giving are scale degrees, meaning if you're in F sharp major or G flat major, whatever you want to call it, basically you're using notes from that scale. Well, I'm playing them in this position for whatever reason. But you're playing the first note of the scale, the third note of the scale, the 6th note of the scale. So I'm not saying the 6th fret, although that happens to be the 6th fret, because that's not the 3rd fret, that's the 6th fret of the E string too. So you get the idea. First note of the scale, first note of the scale to 3rd, 6, 6, 5, 8. So 8 is the same as 1. I was about to say 1, but it's still an F sharp. And then it walks down to the 7th scale degree, and then you walk down to the 6th at the end of that. And there's some ghost notes in there, and sometimes it sounds like maybe, like maybe there are some actual notes in there too, but that's the general idea. So if I had, if I spent the whole time on it, I would figure out the details and where the rhythm just gets slightly altered. But if I were to have to play this immediately with the band right now, I'd probably play this where I just know that the main thing that I'm doing is outlining these two chords, F sharp, right? And then I would guess that one is a D sharp minor. So it's just those two chords. There's just approach notes to get to them. And same chord. It's just I'm playing the high octave instead of the low. Sorry, I played the wrong note there. But that's the basic idea, and then you can embellish it a little bit differently. Or maybe there's some specifics in there where the rhythm has some variation. But that would be enough to get me through playing that one with a band. Unless there's another section, in which case I just haven't listened that far through it. But hopefully that's good. So, so we've got some more requests, it looks like. You guys can ask questions too. Doesn't have to just be requests. And if you have any questions about stuff that I've just kind of gone over, let me know. You're welcome to ask questions clarifying what I meant by something. Anything of that nature is kind of cool too. Oh, it's the taxi theme. Oh, okay. Let's see. Start it over. So first thing I do is I figure out what key it's in. So when I listen to the song, I can kind of hear what note everything's centered around. In this case, centered around E flat. So it really sounds like E flat major. Ooh, there's where the bass actually kicks in. Ooh, it's got a lot of changes in it. It's like boom, 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 boom. So there's a lot of rhythmic variation that I have to go through and kind of work around that. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. I know someone was saying something about slap too. So let me go ahead and do that. You can slap on E-bass. You can even slap on the rubber strings. It just has a different vibe to it and a different sound. So that was answering Liz's question earlier. Great question. So as far as Rudolph, he says, I don't know anything about U-bass. U-bass stands for ukulele bass, however you want to pronounce it. I don't always pronounce it the proper way. It's all good. Usually, they're known for coming with polyurethane strings that feel like rubber bands. And this one's got a lot of buzz going on. I think it's because of this. Let me take that out real quick. Maybe that'll get rid of it. Got rid of one of the buzzes. So normally people see them like that. This one's fretless, and it's this one's not made by the brand that makes U-bass, so it's technically a bass ukulele. Whereas this one's actually a U-bass because Kala made it, and they own the rights to that term. But it basically it's kind of like if you're playing in a band with an ukulele, it kind of sounds pretty good with ukulele. It sounds a lot like an upright bass, not exactly like it, but a lot of times you can use them in similar scenarios as an upright bass. So hopefully that kind of like gives you an idea about it. And then Luke says, is there a big difference between U-bass and bass guitar besides size? Like I was saying about the strings before, getting used to those strings is a little bit of a thing because your fingers kind of stick to the rubbery material, whereas these are flat wound metal strings. So these feel a lot more like if you put flat wounds on a bass. Upright bass strings are typically flat wound, so they have that smooth metal kind of feeling. They make round wound strings for them too, which are just like ordinary bass guitar strings. Only they're a little bit different because they have a nylon core instead of a metal core, and so they kind of like sometimes just, I don't know if it's the shortness of the strings or what, but if you try to bend, sometimes they roll underneath your fingers if you're doing the metal strings. It's kind of interesting. But other than size, playing wise, on if you have metal strings, there's not really much of a difference. You have to do certain things to lessen string noise. So it's more like playing on an acoustic electric bass, if that makes sense, because of the type of pickup. But in general, it's very similar. I'd play a lot of the same things because of the size. Sometimes I play things with different positions. So up here on an electric bass, I would do this kind of spread where my pointer finger is playing one fret and then my pinky's just getting a note 2 frets up from it. But here I have to just use these 3 fingers instead of kind of that borrowed upright technique. But if you're already playing 1 finger per fret kind of stuff everywhere on the neck, then it's pretty much the same thing, just a little closer together. So great question, Luke. And Liz says, as a normal bass player, what is the minimum cost for a decent U-bass? Okay, so that's a tough question to answer because it depends on how you define the word decent. So Kala's cheapest U-bass runs for about $200. There are some options, $200 US. There are some options on other brands that are okay. There's one brand called Hadean, another one called, or Hadean maybe. I must pronouncing it again. Hadean, Hadean. Could be Hadean, could be Hadean. The verdict's still out on that. Although Hadean seems to make more sense. Then there's the Donners are okay. I haven't played on one, so I don't really have an opinion, but I've heard from other people that they're okay. And there are a few other brands, Caramel, and a few other things, but they have some decent brands that are cheaper that run more in the $150 range. But there's a big step up from that range to like the $400 collar range. There's just a little bit more quality control going on. Like, for instance, the Journeyman, the one I'm playing right now, it's sometimes $250 and sometimes $300, depending on if there's a sale on it or not. But either way, sometimes every now and then the frets are a little sharp on the ends, little things like that. So when you're playing, occasionally, just the ends are a tiny bit sharp, and that happens on anything really this range and below. And then if you get to the $400 range, there's usually just a lot better quality control. The necks are better, just things of that nature. So that'd be like the ebony model, the what's it called, exotic mahogany model. I actually have one of those kind of leaned against the wall over here. If I could not make my phone fall, that'd be cool. And this one's the first one that I got. So it has the round wound strings that are more like electric bass guitar strings. And honestly, these are the original strings. I got this 3.5 years ago. And so these strings are 3.5 years old, which is pretty crazy that they still sound all right. These are the ones that feel the most like electric bass strings. Right? So that's kind of a little bit better. I think the quality control is a little bit better on these, but the pickup is different. So just, it has it looks like it really has less options, but it has a good sound. So you don't really need quite as many options. But this one's kind of nice because it has high, mids, and lows that you can change. And this one just has one knob that goes back and forth between having a more low range sound and high range. So it's in the mids, it's kind of a blend. But hopefully that helps a little bit. All right. What about Dark Necessities? I'll have to look it up For whatever reason, I'm not as familiar with that particular song. I can play some Red Hot Chili Pepper stuff, but that one's not really ringing any bells as far as me having the bass line down or anything. So let's see. But does that answer your questions about the U-bass for the most part? And Alan, I'll get to your question in a second. Or actually, I can answer it right now. Yes, I still own 3. Yeah, 3 6-string basses. So as far as U-basses, there are 5-string U-basses. There may be like a custom-made one that someone got made by Luthier that's 6-string, but there are 5 strings. There are 5-string models for sure. Although they discontinued some of them, but there have been ones that have been made at the very least. Okay, dark necessities. So that part's not too bad. 6th fret on the D string, 3rd fret, 5th fret on the G string, to the 3rd fret, same string. Oh, that part. Okay, let me figure out what's going on there. I might play it up here this time instead. Okay. Oh. That first part is just that whole, and I gotta figure out where the ghost note is. There's a ghost note in there. Let's see, where is that ghost note? Yeah, so we got that. So boom. I think there's 2 ghost notes in there. Maybe I may be doing an extra one. Yeah. So it's like slap, pop, slap, pop. So slap. So those are. I think it's a G right there. Actually, I keep hitting the C out of habit. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So the high parts don't change. The low part changes. My hand keeps wanting to do octaves of the other notes, but that's not the case. Let's see. Let's see. Is it a G or a B flat that it does there? Let me check. Dun, dun. It's a B flat. That's what I thought. What? Okay, so that part of the riff, which I'll listen to the rest in a second, it's based around C minor is the key, and we're basically slapping 3rd fret on the A string, and then let's see, yeah, we have a ghosted slap. So 3rd fret, hit the same note, but mute the strings. Then pop the 5th fret on the G string, and And then what we have here is slap, pop, slap, all ghosted. So I'm just laying my hands flat across the strings, not pushing down, just letting them rest to mute the strings. And then we're going to slap, pop, slap. Doesn't really matter too much which strings you're doing. Let's see. I'm leaving it on the A string and still popping the G strings. I'm just still hitting just those 2 strings. And so then we've got popped note on the G string, 3rd fret, then 5th fret. So 3rd fret, 5th fret there. Then there's a ghosted note, but then it's actually a G. I keep hitting the wrong string there. So I think it's 2 slaps. I don't think it's a pop like I've been doing. I think it's a slapped ghosted note, then 3rd fret on the E string, then 4th fret on the E string, and then the rest is kind of the same stuff. You just pop the 5th fret on the G string after that. So and then the only difference is on the way back up to C, we end up with a slapped 1st fret on the A string before going back there. So if I were to make a video explaining it, it'd be a little bit clearer than that. I know it's a little bit all over the place where I'm going back and forth between saying B flat versus saying 1st fret on the A string, which are the same note. I know it's kind of going back and forth between those, but hopefully that gives you an idea there. Okay. But yeah, that bass line's cool. And then when you start singing, there's more to it than that. But I have to listen to the rest of it to know. So Red Hot Chili Pepper songs, they do a version of Higher Ground that's kind of fun. It starts out with... So that whole thing is just a bunch of octaves, basically. Slap, slap, pop, slap. You're slapping the E string open, and you're popping the 2nd fret on the D string for that part. Slap, slap, pop, slap. So you're thinking of it, both those notes are an E note. One's the lower octave and one's the higher octave. Then we're slapping the 3rd fret on the E string twice and popping the 5th fret on the D string once. And then moving up to the 5th fret on the E string. And we're slapping that twice and popping the 7th fret on the G string once. And then wherever I learned it from says it does that the 2nd time, where it's basically the same thing, but when we get to the 5th fret on the E string, that pattern, rather than being slap, slap, pop, is slap, pop, slap. So it just changes the order a little bit. The 2nd time. Okay. And so it does that a total of 3 times. The first way, variation, first way, then actually it does it a 4th time. Well, it does the slap, slap, pop, slap on the E an extra time. So it's really just 3 times of that full pattern. 2nd time with variation, 3rd time normal. Then it goes slap, slap, pop, slap on the E still. But then after that, it goes, and it's a pattern that's felt in 3, triple it, but he's popping octaves. So he's going 5th fret on the A string, popping the 7th fret on the G string, 4th fret on the A string, popping the 6th fret on the G string, slapping the 3rd fret on the A string, and popping the 5th fret on the G string. But it sounds like triple it, even though it's a 2-note pattern that he's moving down. He's thinking in groupings of 3. Triple it. So it's kind of an interesting thing where it's kind of juxtaposed over there. All right. So I skipped over Jackson's request by accident just because I got caught up on all this Red Hot Chili Pepper stuff, which was kind of fun. So I'm going to switch over to upright really quickly, just so you guys can hear some upright. I'll probably remember to raise this up this time so that you can actually see it. All right. So I haven't played it in a little bit. It might be a little bit rusty. There's a little bit of upright for you guys. So that gives you an idea of my upright playing. I play with the bow sometimes. It may not come through the, I'm not sure if that came through really well either. It'll probably be too loud for this microphone, so it may not come through very well. I'll stand back a little bit. I just play it wrong again. Let's see. Probably. It's all good. Okay. So that gives you an idea. Hopefully it came through clearly. If the sound is ever distorting, please let me know, because there are things I can do to change it. But I've been having some issues with that lately. So that gives you some idea of the upright. So does anybody else have any questions or anything they want to hear? You may want to see the actual instrument. There we go. All right. So a lot of times I like asking you guys what genre. I'm going to do a loop pedal jam. What genre would you like to hear? And what key would you like it in? So I'll take a key from one person and a genre from another person. So you can choose whether to post a key or to post a genre. And I'll put that together. So any questions or any genres or songs, ideas? Don't all speak at once. Almost sounds like what's that band called? So we got jazz and E flat. All right, I'll do like a simple one. I'll do it in E flat major. Thinking a 2-5-1-6 kind of progression. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, probably do it like that. No, I don't like that. trying to keep it low so that I have a lot of room to play over the top of it. So let's see. I can do that, but that's a little too high up. Something like that. Forgot what I was playing. Okay, I'll lay down the chords first. I don't like that last chord. One more time. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, the Pink Panther kind of thing? It's a weird key to do it in. Okay. I'm gonna do something kind of a little bit different. So not quite Pink Panther theme, but basically like a walking bass line underneath kind of a jazzy progression. Cool. Something like that. Okay, so Robert said Birdland. I can't remember if I'm gonna do it in the right key. The whole. Let's see. I think I'm doing it in the wrong key, but we'll find out when I do this right. Let's see. It's hard to get that one in tune without any reference point there. I have to guess on here. Yeah, I can't do that part. That part doesn't really work as well on U bass, because just the string length makes those high harmonics not really go very well. But Birdland's a really good song, and Jocko does some false harmonics up high, which the lower ones are kind of easier to hear. And he does them so cleanly that they sound like a guitar, but it's actually him doing them up there. I can't remember any of the rest of it, so apologize for not having more of that, but you get the idea. So Feel Good Inc., I can't remember which key it's in. I'm going to assume it's in E minor. It might be an F minor. Might be in a different key, but so I don't think it does a slide every time. I think it does it every other. It might be like that. But anyway, all that's doing is if you know your E minor scale, then you're really just walking up E minor, the first three notes, and you actually hit the first one twice. So you end up with open E 2 times, E, E. Then you have the 2nd fret and the 3rd fret still on the E string. You jump down to the 3rd fret on the A string, then the 2nd fret on the A string. Then you do the open A string twice. Then 3rd fret, still on the A string, 2nd fret, still on the A string. Now you're going to do the 3rd fret on the E string and the open E string. O, 2, 3, shift, 3, 2, O, 3, 2, back to the E string, 3, open. And then every now and then we slide into a 7th fret on the A string, which is just an E note. So and I'm not sure if he slides on the A string or if he slides literally to the 12th fret of the E string, because they do sound like they have a longer slide. So that longer slide might actually be from somewhere way down here all the way up to the 12th fret. So either way, it's either sliding into the 12th fret on the E string or sliding into the 7th fret on the A string at the end of that. So that's basically all of the bass in Feel Good Inc., because the other part doesn't really have bass on it, unless you're listening to Davey 504's version. I think he has a cool version where he does the dun dun. I have to think about it. Dun, dun, dun. There it is. So, yeah. But he does more, and he has some slap, and he adds some backbeat to it as well. So he's got that snare drum kind of going. But it's a very good version. So I see Solitude in E minor. Let's see. Which one is that one? Not familiar with that, I don't think. Weird. I found a playlist for it, but I didn't find anything on that. So, Alan, I'm not sure which thing that is. Sorry. I'm going to loop it and see if I'm playing in the right key or not. So I think I'll be here. Yeah, so I guess technically it's in G, and I accidentally played it in F, so that would be more like. Get the octave. Just too close together up there for me. Yeah, so that's cool for Birdland. Sorry, I just want to go back to that one more time because it's fun trying to do that. It's a SpongeBob meme. Okay, so when I looked it up, they actually had a playlist that came up that had Squidward and Patrick on it, but it didn't really have the song with it. So I didn't know about that one. Try to do something with harmonics, I think. So I'm gonna come up with a progression and kind of come up with some harmonics over it. So, Robert, I'm probably not going to get the electric bass out right now because none of them are really in close proximity, and yeah, I'd have to kind of go and figure that out. Man, Alan, you got some good requests, none of which I seem to know off the top of my head. I'm not sure if the U-bass goes low enough to do the Thundercat. Let's see. I don't have all those effects either. That might be too hard to pick out. He's doing some kind of weird stuff. Yeah, so he's using a lot of that range of the bass. Well, it might be possible to play the notes on here. I think that would take too long to go through. Very good one, though. I don't know. Maybe I can find a tab or something. I'll cheat. See if anybody did a good job on the tab or not. Yeah, so they have it doing something much simpler than I was hearing. I don't know that that's really right. But then they have a more full sounding thing there. But yeah, I'm not so sure about that. I don't think it's quite that straightforward and quite that simple. Let's see. Is it just power chords? And I think he's also doing it there. So. Anyway, yeah, I don't really think that's true. They have it on a different string anyway because he's got it tuned. They don't even tell how he's got it tuned. Oh, they're calling it. They're doing like a guitar version. That's kind of strange. All right, I'm gonna give up on this one, I think. No. Oh, they have it tuned down to drop D. That's why. Okay, so they have it tuned down to drop D in order to get the notes. But he has that crazy 6-string. Oh, you're saying you can play it? You can play the song higher on U-bass? Yeah, I think they're two distinct parts. They have the tab that I found on here tuned down to drop D, which kind of makes sense to do. Rather than playing it up really high, and then they only have one section of it. So you know, there are some other tracks of bass kind of in there, but that would take a little bit of time to pick out. So I don't really want to leave people on here trying to do that and everything. But it is a cool song. But in order to do the part they have on there, they have you tuned to drop D. Which is pretty close. So if I were to play it the way they have it on here, they were saying. Yeah, I don't know why they have that first one as 2/4, where I would just do it. I would just do it here if I had it tuned down to drop D, and then just use one finger to play all of it basically. But I'll just stack the fingers since I'm getting a lot of buzz when I do one finger. Yeah, I'm not sure that I agree with that because there's just more going on there than they're kind of doing. So I guess if you know the other part, you can loop the rest of it, but that would take some time. But good suggestion. So does anybody have any more questions? So if not, I'm probably gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. Yeah, I have a built-in tuner. I'm sitting here trying to tune by ear. Does everybody on here know how to tune by ear? Kind of requires being able to hear the overtones. I was tuning with harmonics a second ago. Man, knocked all the other ones out too. Basically, if you have one string in tune, you can tune the other ones to it. That's kind of the idea. Does anybody else have anything they want to hear? Yes, Seth, I imagine you do with all the training you've had, especially a long time ago. I imagine you would know how to tune by ear. There are two ways to do it, of course, for other people. Have you ever played a 6-string bass? Alan, yeah, I answered that earlier. Not a 6-string U bass, but a 6-string bass guitar. I actually have 3 of them. So yes, I have one that's fretless and 2 that are fretted. Oh no, Seth with the jokes over here. I think I know where this is going. I'll just go ahead and answer it anyway. What is the difference between a fish and a piano? Well, you can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish, but you can eat tuna fish. All right. So, 6-string basses in the $200 to $350 range. I think there are some decent ones that are used. I'm not sure about new ones that are in that range. Really, anything that Ibanez makes is usually going to be pretty good. You may have to do some adjustments to it, but Ibanez is probably the best bang for the buck in that range. I was really lucky with one of my 6-string basses. They had it at Guitar Center, and something was wrong with it, and it was on the wall. And knew that bass was like $700. I think used it would be about $350. So if you can find an Ibanez that has Bartolini pickups on it, if you can find a used one in that range, then I would recommend that. But I don't know if you can find one just regularly. But as far as new basses, if Ibanez has anything in that range, I would probably go with them for a 6-string. But yeah, I like the Ibanez's. I have 2 Ibanez's, a fretless. The fretless is really, it used to be a fretted, but somebody took the frets off and filled it in before I got it. And then the other one was the one with Bartolini's I liked. And then I have a Warrior bass as well, 6-string Warrior. Multi-scale basses? I guess I'm not quite sure. I know about multi-scale basses. Let's see. So what, okay, well there's what is a multi-scale bass, so I guess I'll check. Okay, so those are the ones with the different scale per string, where you've got the fanned frets and all that other stuff going on. I've never played one. I'm sure their intonation is better. You know, I mean, they do it for that reason. I'm sure you get a fuller tone out of having the E string being a little bit longer and the other strings being just kind of like the right length for the sound. But I have yet to play, or if I did play one, now that I think about it, I'm either having a false memory or real memory of playing one, and it really didn't feel that different. Like I expected the fan frets to feel a lot different, but I don't think they really did. So I imagine they're pretty similar. You just have to adjust your playing position. So if you're used to playing without looking at the bass, certain things might feel a little bit different, but they sound pretty good and play pretty good from the ones that the one time maybe that I got to play on one. But those are interesting with the fan frets and everything. It looks like Ibanez makes one, ESP makes one. A lot more brands than I thought, I guess. Weird. There's a Muso, which sounds like the brand that made this one bass that's like that. I've never seen one that looks like that made by a non-brand name for $360. It's not a bad price for that. Interesting. Very strange looking. Oh, well, I can't share that with you guys, but I don't have a screen sharing option, but you get the idea. There's some pretty cool ones. So I guess that's the answer. Okay, so Robert asks, what notes are additional strings on a 6-string bass? Usually, you'll get a thinner string and a thicker string. So the 4 in the middle will be our normal 4. And they're all tuned in fourths. So you end up adding a thinner C string and a thicker B string. So you end up getting B, E, A, D, G, C when you do that. All right. So I guess I'm going to do one more loop on the way out, and then that'll be it for this week. Do you guys want to give me a genre and a key once again? So just let me know if you got one in mind, and we'll do that to kind of bring it to a close. Don't all speak at once. A genre from one person and a key from another, and I will make a loop jam off of that. Oh, we got one more question. Do you think you'd ever get a solid body ukulele bass or U-bass one day? Yeah, I plan on getting a one of the ones I really like is the the Koa model. So I've thought about getting that one or the Bakiti Kamalo one. If you know Bakiti Kamalo, he plays bass with Paul Simon a lot. He's on the Graceland album, and he's one of the few people with a signature U-bass. So yeah, I plan on doing it one day. I don't think it's going to be one day soon. All right, I guess I'm just going to make one up and just kind of whatever I feel, unless I hear something from you guys. Mateo says, "Hi, I'm new to the channel. I have a question. Can a U-bass be played unplugged? Does it have a loud enough volume?" So here's what it sounds like unplugged. It depends on what model you get. So I'm going to, I guess, demonstrate all three. Let me turn off the amp real quick just to give you the idea. So this one has the flat wound strings. So as you can tell, you can hear it. I probably wouldn't jam with an acoustic guitar player on it. It wouldn't really be loud enough to hear over an acoustic guitar or possibly even an ukulele. The one that I feel like would be the loudest in that scenario is one with round wound strings. But if a guitar player is strumming, you probably won't be able to hear that over them strumming. If they're finger picking, you can probably jam with them or jam with an ukulele player. And if you're sitting fairly close together, then you'd probably be able to hear that. And then the rubber strings, or the polyurethane strings rather, are virtually too quiet. I'm not sure if you can tell from the mic how quiet, but you wouldn't really be able to hear that too well. I know part of this is because I have the one with F holes, the one with the round sound hole. Let's get a wander out. it projects a little louder, but not loud enough to make a difference. So it's loud enough for you to hear when you're playing by yourself, not loud enough to jam with other people. Unless you get one with round wound strings, or you have somebody that plays quietly enough. But yeah, even for jamming with an acoustic guitar, I'd recommend either doing the round wound strings or having a small amp. All right, so Robert says you can't hear the round wounds unplugged with 2 ukes. And I'm thinking it depends on how loud those ukes are playing. If they're strumming wildly, no, you probably won't be able to hear it very well. But if you're playing with somebody that's finger picking, you should be able to hear it finger picked. Yeah. So I'm glad that helps. Let's see. If this is in tune, I might play something on it instead. All right. So let's do this. Hopefully that won't fall over. That's the goal. Okay. All right, let's see. I'm not sure. Ooh, I don't like that last one. All right. So Seth, you said you like the idea of doing something in the vein of Take 5. I don't remember the melody of Take 5. I remember the bass line. And you said F flat, which is kind of clever. I know you know what F flat is. The key of E. So we get a lower bass tone than that, a little less treble. Not even sure where the melody goes. I'm probably gonna end up not making the melody in 5 if I do that. It's kind of hard to do. Problem is I can't do the changes in the B section. I don't know. So basically in 5, I kind of have trouble coming up with interesting phrasing. In 7, I can kind of come up with some things because I've practiced doing different stuff over that. But in 5, it just feels like I'm adding an extra beat to anything I'd normally do. So it's like I'll do a 4 beat thing, a 4-beat idea, and then add an extra beat onto the end to kind of round it off. But you could do different things to make it more interesting, like the grouping that you hear all the time with that 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2. If you wanted to like make your phrasing more interesting, you could think of it in a different split of doing 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 over the top of that, and mix them back and forth so that it sounds a little bit more seamless. But yeah, it takes a little bit more practice on it, and I haven't really put that time in. But if you're playing over something in 5, that's what I'd recommend. You just kind of do that. I think we figured out the other time that Mission Impossible theme is also in 5. So 1 like they're both in 5. So if you wanted to, you could kind of throw that in over the top of it. But hopefully that helps. Well, thank you guys for hanging out. Seth, great requests. Robert, it's good to see you on here. And good information with the round wounds versus 2 ukes. It's easy for me to hear myself when I'm playing with other people, but a guitar player did complain that it was a little bit quiet. So great questions, everybody. Thank you all for hanging out. Alan, you had a lot of good requests too. Valeria, it was good to see you again on here. I think I saw you the other week, unless I'm getting confused with someone else. Mr. Mayonnaise bringing the weird comments every time, but that's cool. So Seth, yeah, in 5/4, yeah, both of those are in 5/4. But yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out. I'll see you guys on Tuesday for another video and Thursday for another live stream. I might give doing a shorts kind of thing another go for anybody that saw that. It's kind of interesting. I released it both ways. I released the horizontal video with the play along afterwards, and then I released one that was a shorter version that was vertical. My only problem is my video editor doesn't make vertical video, so I had to upload it to TikTok to download a vertical video because that lets you rotate the horizontal to vertical. It's confusing, but in order to get good quality video and to be able to have the tabs on there, I had to do that, and it lowered the quality. So I'm trying to figure out how to do it to where I don't have to lower the quality. But if I figure that out, then I'll probably do some more shorts because I think those are kind of fun. But thank you guys for hanging out. I will see you guys on Tuesday for the video and Thursday for the live stream. And have a good week. Cheers.